Hello and welcome to my review of Sinister, as the title says. I'm going to very briefly explain a change to the videos I'm doing, the reviews. One, at the start of my review I'm going to do a brief plot summary of the film I'm reviewing, and at the end of the video I'm going to do like a little talk as to whether I think a film should get a sequel or not. I'm going to try and stop rocking in my chair now. So yeah, those are the changes. I'm going to try and add them. I may forget though, I hope I don't. But anyway, let's get straight to the review. Sinister follows a true crime writer, or a novelist, whatever, something like that, called Ellison Oswalt, or Oswald, but it's a T at the end, so it's Oswalt. And you know, it's been a while since his last book has done really well. He's done other books since his first one came out like 10 years ago, but they haven't been as good as his first one. So him and his family moved to a new house where they moved to this new house, and he tries to write this book. He finds a box of Super 8 videos, or Super 8 film in his attic, and it's videos of all these people being murdered, and he uses that to try and solve the mystery of a girl that's gone missing, and all sorts of paranormal stuff happens. Anyway, the review itself, very, a concise version. Sinister is a good horror film, plenty of positives, some negatives though. And this is a warning now. There will be spoilers in this video. I'm not gonna try and go into too much depth about them, but I feel as though for me to just explain the negatives, I may have to mention spoilers. So, spoiler warning: if you haven't seen Sinister and you want to see it, don't watch. If you have seen it or you don't want to see it, by all means keep watching. Anyway, some of the positives about the film, well, most of them, all of them. That is probably something I missed out on, but whatever. Very good, solid performance by Ethan Hawke. He plays Ellison. Ethan Hawke, it seems, he knows what he's doing when it comes to acting. He did a really good job as Ellison. So does all the supporting cast. Acting, there's no problem with the acting at all. Although, there's kids in it, and, kids can be kind of annoying in films, and, yeah, I didn't really have a problem with them. Easily one of the biggest positives about Sinister is it nails the sort of the tense, dark, scary atmosphere really well. It gets it just perfect at times. Sometimes it's a little off. You're like, okay, you're kind of overdoing it a bit. That you don't need to be this intense and scary for a scene as kind of simple as this. Like an example being, this is a spoiler warning. There's a scene where Ellison is moving stuff into the attic, and it's all dark. And whereas it's cool to look at and it is tense, you kind of like, okay, this could just be like another part of the film. You don't need to make this as intense as you're trying to. But generally, throughout the film, really good job of keeping the tension, the mystery, all of that is just done really well. Another good thing about the film is that at times it is creepy as hell. I mean, literally, there's just the way that they've edited the film with the Super 8 footage and the film itself. Just the way they've edited all of that together, and just the camera work with the Super 8 camera, and just the music that plays over the videos. It's all really creepy, and just gives this feeling of dread and just sort of fright throughout the whole film. Well, not the whole film, but when you see the Super 8 footage. And the Super 8 footage themselves, they're actually really well done. They're really cool to look at. So those are the major positives of Sinister. There's some, from a technical aspect, the camera work's all really good. You get a lot of the time you get these like long panning out shots of like a corridor. They're all really cool to look at. And yeah, there's the positives really. They're pretty good. The negatives, the negatives are mostly to do with the story. The story it's interesting, but there are times in the story where you're just like, okay, that's not going to happen. There's no way that this can happen. And this is where the spoilers come in. An example of this is, in case you didn't know, the house they move into, 4 people were hung by the necks from a tree in the garden of this house. And despite the fact that they've bought the house and they've moved in, the wife doesn't know that 4 people were killed in the garden. Somehow that was kept a secret from her. I don't know, the estate agent maybe didn't mention it, but I think if 4 people have been killed in the garden of a house, the estate agent would have to mention it. I'm pretty sure it's by law you have to do that. And there's other story issues. You might not pick up on them, but if you watch and you like pay attention, you'll notice that some of the things they say just don't really work out properly. Another thing with the story is I'm not a huge fan of the way they kind of try to explain the sort of the paranormal entity. When it comes to sort of like paranormal stuff, like Paranormal Activity and the Blair Witch Project, I like the mystery surrounding, you know, the I don't know, the ghost or the demon that's haunting them. I like the mystery. The mystery helps keep things, you know, mysterious. It helps keep the tension high. The way they sort of played it off as being this sort of like this demon of this sort of like myth kind of thing, that's, you know, sort of like a curse that's, you know, centuries old and, you know, has to eat children to survive. It's like, you know, it's kind of you know, it's not great. I wasn't a huge fan of it, but, you know, which is weird because in general, when it comes to films, I like them to be concise. I like them to sort of say what's going on, because I don't really like having to think about film too much. But with horror and with the sort of like the paranormal element that horror films sometimes have, I'm willing to accept mystery. So, in summary, really good performance by Ethan Hawke, good performance by the supporting cast. When you need it to be, there's a tense, creepy atmosphere, which is really well done. Camera work, music, lighting is all really well done. Helps convey sort of the atmosphere, the dark, tense atmosphere that you're trying to get from the film. Sometimes I feel it may have sort of like over intense, under intense scenes, you know, if you know what I mean. And generally there's some, what I'd like to say they're not that big issues, but they are big issues with the story, because this film is based off one just stupid decision of that we're going to move my family into the house where 4 people were killed. You know, and the fact that the story is based off this just sort of like really stupid idea, it kind of sort of does bring things down for me with the film. I should note, I don't believe in any of the whole paranormal stuff, but even I'd have to think twice about buying a house where 4 people were killed in the garden. You know, I'd think twice. I wouldn't bother buying that at all. So with all these things together, I've decided I'm going to give Sinister 3 out of 5. I could go 3.5, but I think, you know, given the fact that it accomplishes what a horror film should do, but tries to juggle the element of like mystery into it, and sort of having the story, you know, sort of not as well executed as it should have been, I think 3 is a suitable mark for it. Anyway, thank you for watching the review. I hope you enjoyed. I hope you found it informative. And yeah, that's it. See you around.